All right, so let's get on to the good part.
Yeah.
Training.
Let's talk about training. Let's fucking go. All right, so training. What are the moving parts involved in training and programming for a client? Like where do we start? So let's go from step one. I have a goal.
Yeah.
What does the training program look like and where are we coming at it from?
How many days you can come into the gym?
Yep.
Usual like screening, like any previous injuries, experiences. Are you an absolute beginner, intermediate?
Skill level.
Absolutely.
And
then the first block is usually where I see how they respond to movements. Do they understand intensity? Are they taking their rest breaks? Are they consistent in maintaining the days that they said they will come in? Then from there I can make changes.
So if we look at a training program for everyone at home, we're like, how many days can you commit to your training program? And then from there, we have this like initial block where we're trying to teach you the fundamental movements or even just like seeing how you perform anyway. Because I know I do that even with people who are 3-4 years into the game. With those workouts though, how do we know what those workouts look like? Like where does that come from? Like is everyone getting the same training program or are we looking at a certain thing to guide our decision making with those programs?
It's dependent on what their goal is.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
and preferences.
Example of that would be maybe one program's like a strength based kind of, someone who's interested in, their physique development. It might not be the same as someone who's like maybe newer to the gym and like their main goal is weight loss. Those two programs aren't the same.
No.
Which is why you're going to get separate
focuses,
separate lens looking through the program as well. And then you already spoke about it as well. Someone who's trained for 3 or 4 years who has weight loss as their goal isn't going to get the same movements as someone who's new to the gym with weight loss as their goal as well. So you're going to pick the movements based on their skill level as well. Because I know there's a bit of a misconception, like when you go into the gym, like you should do these like super complicated exercises and, they're going to give you the best benefit. But it's like if you're a new person to the gym, like complication is not a great thing to have lots of.
No.
So we want to simplify it and get you better at moving so you don't hurt yourself and make the training as effective as possible. So if there's other layers, there's other layers to it now though. So we've got the goal, we've got their training commitments, and then we've got like the movement screening and stuff. What are some other things that are important for why we need to have a program and why we're so dialed in on our training?
Exercise selection, knowing how to progress you.
Yep.
And it adds into that framework of this is where we're starting, but this is where we want for you to be to meet our goal. And whether it's that photo shoot that you're looking for or if it's a lift off a powerlifting thing, it's like, okay, this is what we're
progressing towards
essentially.
Yeah. So why is progression so important for the people at home who don't know? Because like there's some people that walk into the gym and do the same workout every day. So why do we want that person why do we set up our plans so that there's that progressive mindset? It's like we want you here, but we want you finishing up here. What does that give somebody?
Enough stimulus for you to get stronger and adapt.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how that was just such a simple way of explaining it. It's just like if you stay the same.
I almost doubted myself for a second. I was like,
should it be more complicated?
But it's as simple as that. It's like if you do the same thing, you stay the same.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that person has the idea.
Yeah.
Try and chip a little bit more. 1 more rep, half a kilo.
Yeah.
Huge. Work on your technique, get more control. Like those things, like I always like blankly are like, are you lifting more weight? Are you doing more reps? But for people who are newer to the gym, it's how you lifting the weight as well, which is a consideration for progression too. Because if someone's like super shaky at the start and all of a sudden they're controlling that same way, that's progression.
It is.
That's you getting better at things. But then you go, let's add more reps. Let's push ourselves. Let's challenge our bodies. Because then if you challenge your body, it goes, I've got to get stronger.
Yeah.
I've got to get leaner. I've got to get bigger. Whatever it is that you want to do and the goal set up for. But if you do the same, you get the same. All right. So what are the what are the biggest problems you see with people's training inside the gym? Even when you consult with people, what are the things that you see with their training programs and why having a program is so important?
Junk volume.
Yep. So just too much work.
Too much work.
Yep.
Not enough intensity. The intensity is just not there. They feel a bit of a burn and that's all they chase.
Yep.
But when you look at it, it's either usually they're not pushing hard enough.
So what would an idea of pushing hard enough be?
Yeah. So if you've been doing the same program for a little bit, so not a fresh new program, you've been at the program for 3-4 weeks maybe. This is where you can really play with intensity because your body is used to the movements, you know what the routine is, you can lock in. By the end of that set, you can maybe squeeze out 1 to 3 max. Extra reps without taking a break.
Yeah.
Maintaining good form. Maybe there's a bit of a breakdown in range, but that intensity is what we want to work up to.
Yeah. So training close to failure, but
100%.
not to failure all the time.
No.
But just getting to a point where it's like you're kind of questioning, like, there wasn't many reps left there.
Yeah.
And it got hard. The subjective difficulty of it towards the end of the set was really high.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And those reps are still quality.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
So you've got people just doing like aimless, ridiculous amounts of work, which we know at some point won't give you any return because everybody I feel like's done it at some point. You've got intensity, working, not working hard enough. What else do you see people, like the biggest things that in the gym people experience with their training that's letting them down?
It's either they stick to something for too long or they don't stick to anything at all.
Yeah, so not sticking to a plan at all, and if you stick to something and it's not working, you don't have any reference point to change it.
Pretty much, not tracking it.
Yeah.
It's not trackable.
Yeah, that's also another one.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not logging your workout progress, like how are you supposed to get better every week?
Yeah. The other one I would say is like exercise selection, specifically for the person we're talking to that's like trying to get back into training more often than not. It's like who we've got coming through for PT, right? If you're in that boat, exercise selection is going to be important in a different way to say like for a bodybuilder. A bodybuilder's like, I'm going to select this exercise to hit this very specific range of the muscle or position or even the muscle itself. For when we're writing for someone who's maybe in their first year of training, it's like, what can I give you to allow you the best chance to get into that intensity zone? So if you're not amazing at squatting on a barbell, in my opinion, 99% of the population are strong enough to squat their body weight, but they don't have the skill to do it because you can sit on the toilet and you can get off the toilet.
Yeah.
So unless you're like grabbing the walls, you can probably squat your body weight okay. But putting a barbell, there's complications. It's getting like that like systemic control and coordination
That's
to
mobility
work.
demands as well. Yeah.
All of those things. And it's like, okay, what's the benefit of you trying to back squat right now? Can we put you in a leg press and you can just go to fucking work? Yes. Amazing. Let's do that. And I think in that earlier phase, that's the mistake that people make. The exercises are too complicated that don't facilitate their ability to work hard because they think
the complication is going to get them the results.
Isn't what's required.
And that's what skews their perception of intensity.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's so much they've got to
It's
think
really
about.
hard.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard, but the actual muscle's not being worked at the intensity that we want it to.
Yeah. You can take a simple exercise and make it hard by putting adequate effort. The exercise doesn't have to be complicated in order for you to work hard.
Exactly.
That's, I think, and it's getting that balance right. And as you get better, the goal is to progress you to those more complex movements. But it's like they're not the reason that you're going to get better results. It's like it's your effort in the gym working as hard as you can, which is going to get you better results.